John Michael, did you fart?
No, you.
I didn't fart.
No, you.
I didn't fart.
You went like this in your mouth. I just hear that. I just said it.
That was a fake fart, dude. Oh. Dude. Okay, maybe somehow we really need to work as a team. Oh, and speaking of teams, there are actually teams of themselves, 2, 3, but most importantly, even the best of 4 could even work it out. Right?
Yeah.
And he's nervous again. And my brother will be joining us for today's battle, which is a Ruby Rose, Weiss Schneen, Blake Belladonna, and Yang Xiaolong, Team RWBY, versus Susan and Johnny Storm, and Reed and Ben Grimm, also known as the Fantastic Four. Well, since we did get through Ruby Rose and Yang Xiaolong in the previous episodes, but we're still gonna analyze them because it's not better when as a team, right? He's nervous and he's laughing. I'm Jade Sonic, and this is my brother joining us again. It's our job to analyze their stats, weapons, and abilities to find out who will determine their legendary mission. So teams, so they could be pretty frustrating, they could be pretty joyful, but somehow they can even be joined in many ways. Like, take for John Michael, what are you doing? No, John Michael, no.
That's scary for me?
Yes, it's scary for you.
Isn't that scary for me?
Just help me with this, okay?
Okay.
So some people join teams of 4 or 6. Like, take for example, like the Avengers and the Justice League, and for somehow reason the Teen Titans, but no team is for real and without better with younger heroes than Team RWBY. Now before they became united and then lost and separated and then reunited, let's talk about things real quick. Hold on, I'm gonna do this while my brother draws, right? So now before they became teams, let's start from the way beginning. So out of nowhere, RWBY was just staying there, just trying to grab herself a thing inside a dust shop, or where it sells money and anything. Probably get what I'm saying. Dust were useful in the world of RWBY. But how she was getting raw, she usually handled herself, but with a huntress. Then she got in trouble, and then Professor Osmond came. And then they let it at RWBY inside of his school early. Don't know why. But then after, Yang Xiaolong, RWBY's older sister, usually got excited that RWBY is going to begin with her. Wait, my brother's going to talk. My brother says that there is a RWBY game, but it's not really based on RWBY. It's based on 4 different worlds. If you get what I'm saying, Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle. Yeah, there's also a RWBY game on your phone, and I didn't even notice that until now. And it says that like I'm the 5th or 6th one just to play it, because I bet it wasn't even that popular back then. But anyways, back to this. So Yang Xiaolong, RWBY's older sister, was excited that RWBY was going to begin with her, and so then Yang and RWBY quickly landed the ship, and so they weren't even driving it. And so Yang's friends came along. She just ran away, leaving RWBY behind. And that's when RWBY encountered Weiss Schneen, an all-known princess from another realm or city or another kingdom. Yeah, I think it was a kingdom named Atlas. So, but don't get on her bad side. She's actually quite sassy when you give her attitude. And then once a crater explosion happened, and while RWBY and Weiss were arguing, they encounter Blake Belladonna, a silent no-faunist that they usually don't even talk that much. Well, they did actually talk during the night, RWBY, Yang, and Blake, and so then Weiss came to interrupt, and yeah. And, well, enough about the backstory, let's just get to how they were teams. Now, RWBY, Weiss, Blake, and Yang were teams inside a place like a forest where they had to find each other inside deadly grips, and so... And that's how RWBY found Weiss and Yang found Blake, and so RWBY and Weiss and Blake and Yang all found each other, forming a 4 team. Now, like Professor Osmond says, if you find 4 team members, then they're gonna be your team members for like for the next 4 years, and then you're gonna be separated for apart, which is actually kind of sad because it's just like after 4 years later, it's just like 9 months later, you're on a summer vacation, and then hold on, my brother gave me drawing. But anyways, where was I? Where was I? Yeah.
This is Sonic.
Yeah, he drew. Oh my god, it's so adorable. I love it. But anyway, so like Professor Osmond said, if you find 4 team members, yeah, I already discussed that, but it's actually kind of sad because 9 months later, you have summer vacation for 3 months, and then you're gonna have to meet them again, and after 4 years later, you're never gonna see them again because you're gonna start college, and then you're gonna be an unknown green group yourself. But now they're all united, starting their first year, starting to get themselves ready. Now Team RWBY is a yeah, you guessed it, like a bonding, friendship, and well-known arguing team. But that's not just how it really does. Since we can't explain all of their backstories in one analysis, let's just start into their powers, abilities. Now, first is the leader, Ruby Rose. Yes, obviously we're gonna have to start with Ruby. She's actually the youngest inside the group, and was selected as team leader of Team RWBY. Now Ruby isn't just good as her speed. She's actually quite brilliant, as she's been studying all night, all day, and long. Her semblance is her speed, which she can travel around at Mach 3. She's also pretty good with her scythe and part gun, Crescent Rose, which is a handy dandy customized sniper rifle. So Michael, you okay? He was trying to swim on my bed. The competitive sniper rifle that RWBY carries around is not just an ordinary sniper rifle. It can actually shoot from different bullets like ice, fire, and gravity. Okay, I don't get gravity as being a bullet or best shot. I mean, why would they even carry gravity? But if RWBY gets too concentrated and too focused, she can activate her silver eyes. But now her silver eyes does actually create a powerful blast, but it only affects on undead things, like Grim Reapers, Hold on, John Michael. Dude, that was John Michael making an elephant noise.
I'm not. I was making fly noise.
Yeah, so her silver eyes only affect on undead things. Well, just because of that, it ended it. Well, anyways, back to this. Now, the second member of the group is Weiss Schneen. Now, Weiss Schneen is actually the smartest of the group. Even though that RWBY has been studying it all by herself, but Weiss has been studying more and more and more and more. Now, she's been training all her life in Atlas with her sister Winter, and mostly annoyed by her little brother. She's actually known and quite brilliant. Where are you going?
I get something.
Okay. As he's going to get a snack, I'm just gonna talk about Weiss and more until he gets back. Now, Weiss is really competitive with her sword. It doesn't just have sword abilities; it's also part gun. It's also part gun and. So yeah, I was just gone for a while. I had to help with my mom and stuff. So yeah, her sword isn't just a sword. It's actually part gun, and it could summon things once you get to know it more. She can summon any large things like giant knights, small knights, giant little bees, and giant bees, or wasps, if you want to call it that. And somehow she can make clones of her, if that could possibly happen, or create a fake beowulf, or a fake size grim, until she could fool her enemies. But sometimes they can't be easily fooled, and somehow she can run out of ammo. Now, let's discuss Blake Belladonna. Now, Blake Belladonna is a Faunus princess back from her own land island. Now, she attended Beacon Academy, so she was in high school age, so she was clearly the quiet one until volume 4, 5, and 6. That should keep him busy for a while. So, Blake Belladonna is a Faunus princess from another island, and she attended Beacon Academy at high school age. Now, her semblance is cloning herself, like shadow cloning, which reminds me of Naruto, ice cloning, which keeps enemy in sight and stuck, and fire clone, which explodes in front of their face to smithereens, or they could be completely fine. Now she does have her weapon, which is a katana and also a gun at the same time, and also could be used for jump roping. I don't know really, because I only know about the I only know about the katana and gun part. Last but not least of Team RWBY is Yang Xiaolong. Now her semblance is where she takes a big hit in anger. Yeah, that's not pretty much that she does. Now she does have her gauntlets and she does have her motorcycle Bumblebee. Well, we're not gonna include that in this episode because it's just too weird and cartoonish. Now her gauntlets are part fist gauntlets and part gun. And now if she shoots it, it will shoot a bullet or not if she uses it properly. Now, like I said, she could take a big hit and just keep on going like a Spider-Man. Now, if she does take a big hit, she gets more angry. Even if a little piece of her hair falls, she absorbs the energy where she takes a big hit and absorbs the energy with her aura and uses the semblance to do it, which is kind of like World Breaker Hulk. Now, even though that these girls are tough, they do have some weaknesses. Now, Ruby's weaknesses is strength. Weiss's weakness is getting outsmarted. Blake's weakness is losing everyone she loves. And Yang's weakness is losing her strength. But no matter what, there still remain the Team RWBY we all know. Now, as you're seeing inside the scene, we'll be using the Fantastic Four from the 2005 films and the 2007 films. Which I don't know when Fantastic Four: The Silver Surfer came out. We'll be just using those two movies. Now, not to say that the 2017 or 16 version is some slouch. It is actually way a little too stronger for the girls just to fight. So we're just gonna be using this one. Now, not to say, you know what? Let's just go with it. Now, backstories might take a little bit of a while, but what we do know about that backstory is that they did work together, united, so they didn't get apart separately. Well, a little bit in Rise of the Silver Surfer. But let's just talk about their backstory. So, the main reason how they got their powers is that they were in a spaceship inside way up in space. And then survived a space explosion in a spaceship crash. Hold on. So anyway, they survived a spaceship crap explosion. And then somehow they just get weird powers, which some Marvel stories do not make sense. Now they're radioactive weird creeps with no friends. But after doing some heroing, they finally got themselves popular. A lot of fans actually. Now let's just stop talking about how popular they're gonna be. Let's just talk about powers and abilities. Now first let's start with Ben. Now Ben's powers and abilities is strength. He's easily on par with the Hulk and does everything incredibly measurable. Never mind, I thought there was something. Now, his might doesn't actually compare to the Hulk strength, but it does actually scale on. He can easily defeat Doctor Doom. He can easily defeat Doctor Doom and can almost scale to the speed of Silver Surfer. Next is Reed. Now, Reed's powers is stretching abilities, which takes abilities from every superhero that has stretch abilities, like. Now, Reed's powers is invisibility. Now, he can turn himself invisible completely or unclearly. Sometimes you can... Wait, actually, no. Sorry, that's Susan's abilities. Sorry, retry that. Reed's powers is stretch abilities, which actually contains the powers of multiple powers of Elastigirl, Monkey D. Luffy, and some other sort of thing like that. Or Springman, which is not entirely stretchy. Sorry. Now that's Reed's ability. He can turn himself stretchy. Sometimes it can hurt him. Sometimes it can't. Now Susan's Storm's abilities is invisibility. I'm sorry about the messed up thing right there. I just had distractions somehow. Uh-huh. Alright, I got that. Anyway, Susan's powers is invisibility. Now she can turn herself invisible completely or unclearly. Sometimes you can see her, sometimes you can't. Now that's actually kind of impossible. Somehow it could be, well, you can actually get it. She can turn invisible with or without her clothes on. You know what? I don't even want to talk about it anymore. No, I'm not even going to talk about it. Next up, last but not least, is the Human Torch. Oh my god. Having a brother that I knew is possible to put in the video than I thought. Last but not least is Johnny Storm, aka the Human Torch. Now, his powers is fire and speed. Now, he could travel through around the speed of light and can set himself on fire without turning into a pile of bones and flesh. Now, that is actually an impressive feat. Now, all of these characters are tough, but they do have one weaknesses. Now, Ben's weakness is actually compatible and his anger issues. His anger, if he pushes him too far, then it makes his attacks a little bit predictable. And for Reed's abilities, now his powers can essentially wear off a little bit. Now it does actually need more power, and sometimes he can't be that stretchable. Sometimes he loses the powers, and sometimes he doesn't. He has to control them. Susan's one weakness is keeping yourself in touch. If she can be easily tricked, then her powers does actually turn into a downfall. As for Johnny Storm, his obvious weakness is water, and can easily be outrun, or even somehow stronger ice. But no matter what, the Fantastic Four is still remain one of the best teams in Marvel history. Or not. Well, that was a long discussion. Catch your votes in, people, because it's time to see who will determine their legendary mission.
Fight on. Fight on.
Nailed it.
Fight on.
Three, two, one.
Fight on.
He has a fire truck toy and a fighter toy. He's gonna play with it while listening to this. Now, against the Fantastic Four and RWBY, I really thought this matchup was gonna be close, but as the research says, this fight wasn't fair at all. Now this battle doesn't actually be quite obvious on who would win. Now let's just get to why Team RWBY wins. Now, if you don't get clearly on why, let's just do it this way. Johnny is fast, but RWBY's faster. Reed is smart, but Weiss is smarter. Susan is stealthy, but Blake is stealthier. And Ben is strong, but Yang is stronger. Now, this might sound crazy, and you guys are pretty much gonna hate me after this. Now, let's just get on to the first matchup that was introduced. Johnny versus RWBY. Now, Johnny is fast enough to scale himself to the scale himself to the Silver Surfer, which can travel around through light speed. But as of told that the Human Torch can only travel through sound speed, same as Ruby. But when it came to the fastest and the clear cut, Ruby's semblance does put it actually together as she moves at around Mach 3. Now, not to say that the Human Torch is such slouch as speed, it does actually make a clear cut. Now onto the second battle that was introduced, Ben Grimm versus Yang Xiaolong. Now, Ben does actually pull this fight off a little bit lessly, since he was strong enough to scale to the Doctor Doom, but didn't have the guts to actually take him down on his own. Now, Yang Xiaolong doesn't actually defeat enemies on her own, or even with her sister Ruby, but she does actually scale a lot. As of catching up with Neo, yes, and she did lost the battle. Now, if Ben were to do some kicking and dodging, then Ben would have had the chance. But as if he doesn't, Yang does actually pull this fight as a stomp. Now, thanks to her semblance, as she can take a big hit, it's powerful enough to destroy giant mechs in one single punch. Not just because of that, it was actually a pretty clear cut. Now on to the third fight that was introduced, which was Blake Belladonna versus Susan Storm. Now Susan is stealthier with her invisibility powers, but scaling to the research that Susan's invisibility can be tricked. Now, like I said, that was her only weakness, and Blake Belladonna did actually that. Yeah, so Susan's can be predictable with some kind of tricks, and Blake did just that with her fire cologne, which explodes her instantly. Well, I guess we could never see the Visibility Girl again. Now for the final battle that has been introduced, Weiss versus Reed. Now, Reed is smart, but not as smart as Weiss, as she's been studying all day and night. Well, sometimes she has the time to go on adventures with her friends, but really studies real hard just to find out opponents' weaknesses. But she doesn't know about the person of Reed, so if she would even try, she would just try to instantly kill him, just to try to end the battle as much as quickly. Now, the Fantastic Four was cool and is worth 95% of my childhood, but Team RWBY was fast, strong, stealthy, smarter, and even more capable of this. Looks like they made a great team than the Fantastic Four, as this battle was pretty fantastic with the rule of 4. Terrible pun. The winner is Team RWBY. Now, as said, this is the 99th episode, and this will count as a Ultra Fighting Missions episode, as this is a bonus round. Now, just get your votes in for the 100th episode, which is Herobrine vs Slenderman. Bye!